Welcome. This is the Bird's Eye View. I am the War Duck. I am here with Mr. Crow.
Hey, everybody. Hopefully you're wide awake and ready.
All right, so we are in what? Fall back, right?
All back.
Fall back.
Yep,
So we're
it's
saving daylight now.
savings.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we figured since that was we would do a little bit of research on daylight savings and then tell you what we learned because I didn't know this. I always heard, oh, it's the farmers, blah blah blah, the farmers.
I heard the same thing. I was under the same impression and learned the same thing.
So we're gonna tell you the truth. Well, at least the truth as
Here to set the
USA
record
Today
straight.
says. So, let's see. It says that this was okay. Impact shifting, more sunlight earlier in the evening on public health and safety has been a subject of debate. But why do we change our clocks? This happened over a century ago. So the
As
first
in
daylight
1918.
saving was a byproduct of the First World War, an effort by the United States to follow the lead of several European countries who had adopted measures to save on fuel costs during the war by adding an extra hour of sunlight to the day. So this is right there. I didn't know that this was a wartime effort thing and that Europe had paved the way for this.
I did not know it was Europe that helped pave the way. That was one thing I learned too. And I did not know it was a way for us to try to reduce the cost of fuel or coal consumption, I guess as they put it.
Right. So
Yeah, I always thought it was the farmers. I always was mad at the farmers.
So in 1918, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Standard Time Act, a new law which established a standard time and gave the federal government the authority to establish 5 different time zones across the country. So
I'm okay with the different time zones. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. At the end of the war,
That makes sense.
At the end of the World War I, the U.S. no longer saw financial need for what was known as wartime, and abandoned daylight saving times at the federal level. It says states that wanted to continue observe daylight savings locally had the option to do so. Most Arizona and Hawaii stay on standard time year round.
Lucky. Lucky ducks.
So the federal law that dictates daylight savings time as we know it today is the Uniform Time Act of 1966, which implemented a uniform time and date all states forward their clocks to observe daylight savings. Okay, so the way I understand this is the federal government started it in World War I. When it was over, they did away with it, but they maintained their right for the time zones.
Yeah.
Then in 1966, they made a law that says, okay, you states that are going to change, it's on this day and this time if you're going to do it. So that's the way I understand it. Right now, I know that Washington and Oregon signed bills to do away with it, but they were waiting on California to follow suit before they actually did it because they didn't want to be on different times than California because they're all on the West Coast.
That would make sense if they made if it was like all of Pacific time was all the same time. That would be cool.
It sure would help everybody.
It sure would help. It would.
So I don't know.
I don't know this.
So I don't know.
It really stood out to me oddly that 1966. I mean, that was to date myself, but like that was 10 years before I was born. Like it was still like my parents were still new at learning this.
Yeah, I don't know if Washington and Oregon can do it by themselves because the federal government says it's up to the state.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it. But I don't know. Like, I don't...
If Oregon and Washington did it, I don't see why California wouldn't follow suit. Like, they're leading and paving the way, and I think it just makes sense, too. If California did it as well, their Pacific time always remains the same. They never change.
And now, could you imagine having, like, Pacific time and then California time?
Yeah, I'm on Pacific time, but California time.
Because
I'm
that's really what
specifically
would it be
California.
if
Mhm.
Oregon and Washington changed and California didn't.
The only one I know is what November, Nevada. Nevada's the other. Aren't they on Pacific time too? Not
I thought
positive,
they
but I
were
think
on
they are.
maybe. I don't know. I don't keep track. I usually if I have to look, I usually just Google it up real quick to like check the time to see because I can't remember who falls back when they fall back because I
Yeah.
don't change. It makes it worse for me because I
Oh,
like
yeah.
everybody else
You
is
probably
doing
have the.
something different than what I'm like I don't know.
So
So
it says here. This makes it even more even better. Almost all of Nevada is Pacific time. There are a few exceptions that exist that observe Mountain time, and they're the ones that are along the borders of Idaho and Utah. So not all of Nevada is Pacific. Like that doesn't make no sense. That makes no sense to me.
yeah. So
Nevada's in Pacific time.
So I thought this was kind of cool though. It has this postcard, right? It says sign and mail one of these postcards to your congressman at Washington and help make it a national law. Set the clock 1 hour ahead. So they used to mail out these postcards so you can sign and date it and send it in.
I I
Interesting.
I say we look at this and see if we can make it, and let's sign them back. Let's go send them back.
Hey, it doesn't
And be
matter to
like,
me. I don't change. I mean, I wake up
yeah,
the same
you're
time all the
lucky.
same. So it doesn't bother
I
me, but you know, like I said, we didn't know it was a wartime thing. To
No.
save coal is basically what it was for, and then it just stuck.
They, as I was reading this thing too, they said that the experiments had already happened by England, like some of the England
Yeah,
areas. So yeah, that was complete. I like yeah, that was a learning thing for me. I did not know that this was one a war thing and was also kind of in a way led by England or
yeah.
European, I should say, countries.
Says at 2 a.m. Sunday, clocks in most North America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand will fall back an hour until the return of daylight savings time, March 10th, 2024. So
Yeah,
there's
and I
so there's
hate
still a
I hate
bunch
the
of
spring.
the um, non North America folks that still do this.
Oh yeah,
So does South America not do it?
I have no idea.
I have
Let's
no
look
idea.
that up.
Also, but
I hate the springtime one. That's the one that
the spring
kills me.
forward,
Yeah, you lose
you
an
lose an
hour.
hour. Yeah.
It's I'm groggy for a month. Well, actually, well, yeah, about a month. I'm pissy for a week. Like I'm angry for a week. Let's see. South America have daylight savings. South America in its regions, EST is not useful because of the stability of light levels throughout the year. As a result, large areas of South America do not observe DST,
Interesting.
daylight savings time.
So because they're on the
DS
southern hemisphere and the Earth is tilted, they don't have to deal with it. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's what I'm understanding it too. Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Cool.
Some of the more southerly countries, such as Paraguay and most of Chile, they'd use it. It seems weird, but for the most part, I'd say yes. For the most part, South America does not observe.
Hmm. Interesting. So all the
And
colder
like I
areas.
said, yeah. When it comes down to March, I hope we just stay the same. It would make life so grand.
With our current political climate, I don't see this changing, to be honest, right now.
I think it's yeah,
I'm not saying
it's
that
the
we
least
shouldn't.
of
I'm
the
just
worst.
saying that nobody can agree to do anything, so they just won't do anything.
Well, and this is I would say is so far down on the totem pole. Like this
Yeah,
is
but it's also so easy.
That's the easiest. Yeah,
Right? It
don't do
doesn't
it.
really, it doesn't cost you any money to do it. It just hey.
I don't see why states themselves just I don't know. Can a state do it? Can a
Well,
state
the way this
just
reads
initiate
is
it?
that the federal government requirement ended for wartime, and that they gave
It
it to
seems
the
like the only thing
states.
they gave was they say these are the dates.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it is a state thing, and we just need to bring it up with the states. But I I wish it would
So
be
they
done
had
away
seen
with.
considerable savings in coal consumption after the World War One. U.S. no longer saw financial need, became known as wartime, and abandoned daylight savings at the federal level. According to Congressional Research Service report, states that wanted to continue observing daylight savings locally had the option to do so. So I don't see why, if they had the option back then, they don't have the option now. It sounds like all they have to do is, pass it as a law in the state, and then be like, okay, we're done. You just have
Yeah, that
you
would
just have to keep your time zone according to the Uniform Time Act.
that would be amazing.
So
That would
interesting.
if we can do away with it, that means I would be on the same time as you all the time too.
Well, maybe. You never know
'Cause
which
that was
one
the
they're gonna
first.
keep you at.
Yeah, that's true. That was the first thing I told you like this morning when I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, just let you know, we changed our times. I think you and I are on the same time now."
They may be like,
Like,
okay, we're gonna do it, but after you all spring forward.
ah, that is the worst one.
So now
I
California, Oregon, and Washington are an hour behind me. Nevada,
yes,
Utah, and I think Wyoming
Idaho.
and
I'll be
Idaho
with you.
are on the same time. And everybody else starts 2 hours and then 3 hours.
That is I've never thought of it that way. Yeah, like
See,
how
see now,
California and
now
all of
the
that
East Coast is only
oh,
2 hours ahead of me.
instead what was it? 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah, that was messed up for you because they're always 2 hours ahead for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always an hour ahead of Pacific. And yet you just mentioned I was on their same timeline. Like
See,
that was a
that's why
mess.
it's confusing for me sometimes. Is I'm like, oh shit, it's too early. It's too early for
Yeah.
people in the West Coast, and I gotta like try to. Like,
Yeah. Well,
'cause my
that's a
dad's
lot
in
of my
Florida. My dad's in Florida, so when I call him, I usually call him on Thursdays on my way to work. Now, when I call him, it'll be an hour later for him. And then when I get
Jeez.
off work, I usually call the folks on the West Coast on my way home. But now it'll be too early. None of them, they'll all still be at work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
great. Like, yeah, I've never thought of it. It's a mess. I wish we'd just do away with it. All of us, just all states, just go to EST and call it good.
Yeah. So, all right. With that, though, we're
What are
going
your
to get out of
thoughts,
here. Let
people?
us know what you think about daylight savings. Do away with it. Keep it. Do you want to be on the hour before Arizona or the hour at the same as Arizona? Like, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Do you like daylight time
For
or do you
me,
like standard
I
time?
prefer y'all did it when y'all fell back, and so it's not such a stretch for the 3 hours. But that's my opinion. That doesn't mean anything. So there's that.
I'm just, yeah, but your vote counts too. No. No, I'd love to hear about what people think. That'd be awesome. So leave a comment.
All right.
Like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Appreciate
Stuff
you
off.
all. Bye.